What's going on, everybody? It's your boy BJ, the DJ. You are now tuned into episode 5 of the rewrap. That's right, we've made it to episode 5. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. The rewrap is also available on all streaming platforms in which you enjoy your pod, so please you tap into us on any one of those. And if you have not already, make sure you tap in with the guys at Over the Top with Chad and Tony. You can find me on there as a recurring guest talking about movies and nostalgic wrestling. Let's get down to business. Episode 5. This episode is titled Ladies' Night. And the idea for this episode came about a few episodes back when I did the top 10 list of MCs. My wife had commented that there were no females in my top 10 list. And it wasn't anything intentional. It was just the fact that when it comes to female rappers, their personal opinion, there are few and far between that I tend to listen to in vast amounts, right? There may be a couple songs here and there, but very few of them will I actually listen to in large doses, right? So, not to exclude the women who are out there doing their thing now, not to exclude the ones who came before those, not to exclude any of them that's in the game doing what they do. It's just it's a prerogative for me. But what I do want to do today is acknowledge a top 10 list of the 10 most um, dopest, influential, um, best lyricists. A lot went into this list. It wasn't necessarily just all about sales. It wasn't necessarily just all about awards. It was could have been, influence. It could be impact. It could be bars. It could be songwriting abilities. Could be the way that they changed the game when during their era. So, but I feel like this top 10 list, there's going to be a few on here I feel like people will argue with me about or will say that I'm kind of out of pocket with, but I mean that's all good and well. But I feel like this top 10 list is very, very important here. Let's get to it. Number 10, I've got the current reigning queen of hip hop, and that's Cardi B. And despite rumors of ghostwriting, Cardi B has had a huge impact on the growth of a female MC, right? Despite only having one album, she's released numerous platinum and multi-platinum singles. She actually has several diamond certified singles: Bodak Yellow, I Like It, and was also featured on Girls Like You with Maroon 5, all which have reached diamond status. Controversial single WAP with Meg Thee Stallion is actually close to being diamond as well. Her album Invasion of Privacy will go on to secure a Grammy for Rap Album of the Year. I Like It is the first song by a female artist to pass 1 billion streams. Cardi's also the holder of several, like most women on this list will be. Cardi is also the holder of multiple Guinness Book of World Records. Say what you want about Cardi. If someone's writing her lyrics for her, sometimes it's all about delivery, and Cardi delivers. She almost any song you do with her is almost guaranteed to be a hit. She is gonna give you her best, and she's gonna make her presence felt on song. So number 10, I got Cardi B. Number 9. Now this is kind of where people probably feel like Cardi should be higher on this list, but number 9, I got Meg Thee Stallion. Often referred to as a sex symbol, she embodies her sexuality in music. Actually went on record as saying it's all about confidence, not just sexuality. She would also feature on the before mentioned WAP song, and that's actually her biggest single or biggest song to date, streaming wise. She's had 2 albums, 3 mixtapes, 3 EPs, 1 compilation, and also secured a platinum certification and 3 gold certifications. So just from sales alone, she's definitely meeting the criteria of being considered one of the greatest. Meg has 2 Grammy wins to her name, including Rap Song of the Year, and also is the holder of 2 Guinness World Records, including she's the first female rapper to win Best Rap Performance and also the first female to win Best Rap Song at the Grammys. So shout out to her. Meg Thee Stallion's coming in at number 9. Number 8. I feel like number 8 of the newer generation, I feel like she brings the most to the table as far as lyrics go. I've got Lotto in at number 8. She first appeared in 2016 on the Jermaine Dupri produced The Rap Game. and she actually won it. But what Lotto did during that time is she actually declined the contract and she decided to go out on her own, and it's really paid dividends for her. She has multiple gold and platinum singles. Her biggest hit is the Mariah Carey remake of Fantasy called Big Energy. Mariah Carey actually got on the remix with her, and that song right now is currently sitting at about 3 times platinum. Big song for her, big song for this generation. Very popular song. I feel like Lotto has the biggest upside when it comes to as far as talent goes. And if you don't agree with me on that statement, check out the LA Leakers freestyle she did. You could tell she's more bar oriented than a lot of the females on this list as well. So, of the newer generation, I've got her probably rated the highest. And I think, like I said, I think it's justified. Not to disrespect Cardi in any kind of way. I just feel like, or Cardi or Meg, not to disrespect them in any kind of way. I just feel like Lotto brings more to the table, especially the newer generation. There's a lot of female rappers out there that are doing their thing, but I don't think any of them can touch Lotto. Number 7, I got the Brat. And what I will say about the Brat is I don't feel like she gets the credit she deserves for really putting So So Def on the map. She's actually the first female rapper to reach platinum certification, and she did that with her 94 debut, Functified. Fun fact, she actually met Jermaine Dupri after winning a contest sponsored by Yo MTV Raps. She was introduced to Jermaine Dupri by Criss Cross. So, fun fact there. Her follow up, Another Tantrum, would go gold, and also her third album, Unrestricted, would reach platinum. She would steal the show on Destiny's Child Survivor remix. To me, Da Brat is a true pioneer for the female MC, and she really set the stage for your bar oriented female rapper. So number 7, I've got Da Brat. And at number 6, I got Gangsta Boo. Now, I don't feel like I need to go into much detail about my fascination with Memphis rap, but Gangsta Boo was one of the very first females I ever heard rap. There were very few females on my radar at all prior to that. I was never really a big MC Light fan, was never a really big Queen Latifah fan. Um, you know, I was a huge 3 6 Mafia fan, and I've mentioned before, 3 6 Mafia is the greatest rap group of all time, and Gangsta Boo did nothing but elevate that, right? Not just securing features from 3 6 Mafia artists, she also has features with the likes of Eminem, Run the Jewels, Yellow Wolf, Foxy Brown, Outkast, even today's generation. She has tracks with Glorilla. Uh, you know, 3 6 Mafia's biggest hits, Late Night Tip, Who Run It, all featured, show out verses from Gangsta Boo. As a solo artist, she would secure 2 gold records. She also had one of the best Hypnotized Minds releases of all time with Inquiring Minds, her debut album, that produced the smash single Where Them Dollars At. So I don't think I have to really brag as much about Gangsta Boo's catalog as I need to, because I think it pretty much speaks for itself. She was also essential in the birth of crunk rap, especially in the South, and very few females were able to really stand out in that genre of rap music, that crunk rap, and she really held her own on the song with some of the biggest. And so number 6, that's why I got Gangsta Boo. Number 6. Speaking of Southern rap's biggest and best female MCs, coming in at number 5, I got Mia X. Mama Mia, the first lady of the tank. She made a name for herself by appearing on some of the biggest No Limit releases. We talked about her in episode 2, The Chain of Command, and her impact on No Limit Records and their success. She was featured on some of the biggest, I'm Bout It, Ice Cream Man, Make 'Em Say, and she again she would put out show stealing performances. She would secure a gold album for herself with her second album, Unladylike, that was led by the hit single Party Don't Stop featuring Foxy Brown and Master P. Mia X was featured heavily on soundtracks for I'm Bout It, I Got the Hookup, and the Foolish soundtrack, all which would secure her another 2 platinum plaques and also a gold plaque. Mia X also provided a more diverse style than your average female rapper. She provided a glimpse into the sexy rap, but would also provide you quality bars and also storytelling with some of her songs. She was a very well rounded MC, despite being one of the only female rappers on a male dominated record label. So number 5, I got Mia X. Number 4, I've got Eve. Eve was Rough Riders' first lady. She dominated the early to mid 2000s. Another female rapper with competitive bars on a male dominated label. Like if you look at the Rough Riders label at that time with DMX and Styles P and Jadakiss and Dragon and some of the artists they had, I think it was very hard to carve a niche. And I don't think Eve had that problem whatsoever. Her debut album sold over 2 million copies and debuted at number one, making her one of 3 female hip hop artists to have their debut album peak at number one. So that's quite an accomplishment in itself. She held her own against the best artists on the label, and even outside the label with Ja Rule and others that she would feature on songs with. So her biggest hit of her career was the crossover smash with Gwen Stefani, "Let Me Blow Your Mind," produced by Dr. Dre. It also won a Grammy for Best Rap Song Collaboration. So not only the multi-platinum released albums and the gold singles, she also has the Grammy nod and also the Grammy Award to her credit as well. Eve would sign a deal with Aftermath, but would never release an album under Dre. And I think this was the second time, if I'm not mistaken. I think when she first came on the scene, there was a deal in place with Dr. Dre in the beginning, but she ended up going with Rough Riders. So later on, she would come back and sign with Dr. Dre and Aftermath, but never released an album. She was featured on songs, but never put out any albums or anything like that. So she was also one of the most successful female rappers to cross over into movies and television as well. So number 4, I've got Eve. And this is where I could get a little bit. Let me look at this list here. No, I think I've got this right here. Number 3, I've got Lauryn Hill. I'm going to say this. Lauryn Hill is the dopest female rapper on this list. And I'm saying that because of the quality of lyricism that she gave you with songs, right? Her style was unlike anybody on this top 10 list, and she really birthed that style of lyricism. She didn't talk about the sexy stuff. It was for her, it was really all about hip hop and quality bars. So much respect to Lauryn Hill. She's one of the most decorated female MCs. 8 Grammy Awards to her name, including one for Album of the Year as a producer on Santana's Supernatural album. So that's a little fun fact there. Another fun fact, hip hop legend Kumo D, let me read this right. Kumo D released a book titled Ego Trip's Book of Raps List. And he awarded Lauryn Hill with the highest score on his rap report card list. That just goes to show the impact she also has on her peers as well. Billboard ranks her 7th on the 10 best rappers of all time list. Rumored at her peak, she was making somewhere around 25 mil. So, I mean, that's stupid money, right? The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is considered to be an all-time classic, has been actually been sampled by many of today's top rappers, including Drake, Lizzo, Cardi, and also J. Cole. Also, you can't forget the Score album with the Fugees. That's one of my favorite albums of all time as well. You know, you had classics on there, Ready or Not, Killing Me Softly. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was the first female album to be certified diamond. And the Score is actually approaching diamond status as well, sitting about 7 million. She was one of the first female rappers that I remember singing and rapping heavily and successfully. She was like the female Drake before Drake, right? But she did it well, you know, heavily bar oriented, could sing with the best of them. Yeah, can't ignore the contributions of Lauryn Hill by any means. And some people may actually have her as number 1 on this list, but I think the lack of catalog from Lauryn Hill is really what throws me off. Her album was hugely successful. The Fugees album was hugely successful, and the Fugees released other projects as well. But then she just kind of goes away after that, right? I think that's what throws me off, because if you look at who I have at number 2 and who I have at number 1, you'll see why I rated them higher than Lauryn Hill, because their impact was greater and it was longer. So again, number 3, I got Lauryn Hill. Number 2, I've got Missy Elliott. Now, Missy Elliott's the most innovative and creative female rapper ever. I don't think there's any that have been more influential, been more innovative, been more creative than Missy Elliott. Aside from her own impressive catalog, this is where we were talking about the writer aspect of it. Missy Elliott would also lend her pen to write for the likes of Aaliyah, SWV, 702, and also Total. She has sold over 40 million records and secured 4 Grammy Awards for her work. So Her and Timberland were like a match made in heaven because I didn't hear about Missy until I heard about Timberland, and I didn't hear about Timberland until I heard about Missy. The first song I remember hearing that really drew my attention to both of them was "I Can't Stand the Rain." Something about that song, the vibe, the video concept, all of it just kind of fit and it worked. And it's a song that I still to this day listen to. Well, another one of my favorite songs is the Hot Boys remix. So, her body of work is untouched. It's uncomparable to so many others, right? Missy to me was the innovator of the pop rap for females. I mean, Lauren Hill may have been the first to successfully sing and rap and do that combination. But Missy found a way to expand her style into multiple genres all within one song, right? And, she released 6 solo albums and all 6 went platinum plus. Uh, that's unheard of, right? So there was really no fall off. It's almost like she stepped away, she left on her own terms kind of thing, right? Get Your Freak On, Work It, Lose Control. Those are some of her biggest records. She can, I mean, seriously make the claim to be the number one top female rapper in the whole game. But, however, at number one, I have Nicki Minaj. She's one of the highest selling artists of all time. I'm not talking about male, female, whatever. Like she sold over 100 million records, and there are men on the top ten list that haven't sold close to that. She helped lead the rebirth of Cash Money Records with Drake. They led the Young Money era of Cash Money successfully, right? They put Cash Money back on the map. Nicki's one of the most decorated female rappers of all time. She's the only female rapper to have 3 albums hit number one on the Billboard charts. I mean, that in itself is a big accomplishment, right? But despite having 12 Grammy nods, she still has yet to win a Grammy award. So hopefully that'll happen within the next year or so for her. To be nominated 12 times and not win one's kind of disappointing, right? Considering her catalog and the body of work in which she's put out. Nicki also holds 3 Guinness World Records, including, check this out, most Hot 100 entries on Billboard by a solo female artist. Any single that Nicki's featured on is guaranteed to be at least gold or platinum. It's an automatic hit pretty much, even at this point in her career. I know a lot of people like to count her out or tend to just push her to the side for this newer generation, but I don't think too many of them are messing with Nicki, to be honest. You know, her biggest record is Super Bass. It's certified diamond. She'd get a diamond plaque for a collab track with Carol G. She has a couple other collaboration tracks: Bang Bang, Motorsport, Side to Side, Fifi, all slowly approaching that diamond status. I mean, her resume speaks for itself. I don't think it's worth arguing the fact of the work she's put in, and based on the awards and the album sales alone, I think she has pretty much staked her claim at being number one. Right? She also has records with 3 of the biggest artists in the world with Wayne, Drake, and M. So I don't think there's an argument there that Nicki deserves to be number one. So just to kind of recap here, we got number 10, Cardi B, which again, a lot of people probably think she should be higher on this list based on her ability to sell singles, right? Number 9, I got Meg The Stallion. Again, she's another up and comer, another one of the newer generation rappers that has really kind of set the tone. As far as the sex symbol, but also kind of giving you quality songs, right? She makes really good singles as well. Lotto, like I said, she's the one I feel like has the most upside from a female standpoint of the newer generation. She's probably the one, right? Number 7, I got the Brat, the OG, true pioneer in the female rap game. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. But I really think people need to put some respect on the Brat's name. Gangsta Boo, I got number 6, Queen of Memphis. No argument there. She deserves to be on this top 10 list. I don't care what anybody says. And people will probably say she doesn't deserve it. But, I'm not going to argue with anybody about Gangsta Boo and Memphis rap. So, at all. Number 5, I got Mia X. Again, No Limit fan to the death of me. I'm not going to argue with anybody about that. Mama Mia's influence in the female genre or the female group is definitely solidified. So I don't think anyone needs to argue with me on that as well. Eve, again, huge crossover star in the movies and film. She dominated when she was at her peak. She dominated. Eve definitely deserves to be in this list. I got her at number 4. Number 3, Lauren Hill. This is the one I feel like people probably feel like should be at the probably at the forefront of it, probably around that 1 or 2 mark. But again, one album, one great Fuji album. To me, she's the Andre 3000 of the females. She is great in her own right. She gives you quality music, but it just wasn't enough of it for me, right? Even with Andre 3000 and Outkast, it was a collaboration album. She gave us one solid album, and even the Andre 3000 album we got was a second disc of an Outkast project. So to me, they're one and the same. I respect them. They're great in what they do. Just can't put her at number one based on the lack of catalog, pretty much. Number two, Missy Elliott. Again, most innovative, most creative female to ever do it. Deserves every bit of recognition and acknowledgement she gets. I got her at number two. And again, she can make a claim to be number one based on her catalog alone. So, number one, I got Nicki Minaj. And I think that goes without saying. I think she has solidified her spot at the top based on album sales, based on catalog, all the above. So, that's my top 10 females. It's ladies' night. Um, Agree or disagree? Post it in the comments. Let me know about it. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. This is it. It's BJ the DJ. This has been the rewrap. Catch you on the B side.